Thanks so much for joining us here on the CBN News Channel. I'm Ephraim Graham.
And I'm Charlene Israel. The IRS is facing a federal lawsuit from Tea Party and conservative groups. They want the agency to answer for its targeted harassment. Meanwhile, legislators are gearing up for more hearings. George Thomas has more.
Again and again, this administration and its allies have used the resources of the government itself to intimidate or silence those who question.
A new TV ad by Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell hits airwaves, condemning the Obama administration for using the IRS to target Tea Party groups.
I don't know about you, but I think that the leader of the free world and his advisors have better things to do than dig through other people's tax returns.
The scandal keeps getting bigger. The Inspector General's report said a few low-level staff from the Cincinnati office were involved.
This is a letter from the United States Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, Washington, D.C.
But Jay Sekulow with the American Center for Law and Justice says he has new evidence showing the targeting of conservative groups went far beyond a few agents in a single city.
We have the letters. We have the documents. These aren't hard to get. Their agents wrote them to us. 15 agents, 4 different offices.
Sekulow is suing the IRS on behalf of 25 Tea Party and conservative groups.
This is an agency that is completely out of control. Right now, Treasury is, I say the IRS in particular, is institutionally incapable of regulating itself.
The White House has dismissed suggestions it was aware of the targeting, saying the president only learned of the investigation from the media. Meanwhile, the scope and breadth of the allegations have many wondering what the tax agency was really up to.
When a government decides to start targeting its own citizens for no other reason than their political affiliation, we all have a right to be very, very scared.
The IRS sent out questionnaires wanting to know what books people read, their Facebook posts, donor names. Some groups were even asked to give information about their prayers. The big question is, who's responsible? Who ordered the IRS to target Tea Party and conservative groups?
I think we're just starting to get into where this originated, who knew what, when, and I believe, like Watergate, this is probably going to be a scandal. It's going to continue to drip, and we're going to learn more as time goes on.
George Thomas, CBN News.
Now there are reports the IRS may have targeted for audits families who adopted children. According to the Taxpayer Advocate Service, in the 2012 filing season, the IRS requested additional information from 90% of returns that claimed the adoption tax credit. Furthermore, the IRS audited 69% of adoption credit claims, the results of those investigations. The IRS disallowed only $11 million in claims, or about 1.5%. David French of the American Center for Law and Justice has written about this issue on the National Review Online. He has an adopted daughter from Ethiopia and was subject to an audit in 2011. He joins us now with more. David, almost 7 out of 10 adoptive families were audited. Is it safe to say the IRS targeted them for review?
Oh, it's very safe to say. I mean, let's compare the normal audit rate. A middle-class family, and that's the group that the tax credit was targeted to, a middle-class family has an audit rate typically of a little bit less than 1%, versus adoptive parents, 69%.
Why would the IRS target those who adopt?
They try to say that they were just looking for fraud. Well, in 2011, there was a General Accounting Office report that looked at the IRS audits of almost 100,000 adoptive families. I mean, think about that. 100,000 adoptive families, and found 0 cases of fraud referred for criminal prosecution. 0. And in fact, they found that the rate of adjustments on the tax returns themselves, in other words, the minor math changes that or mistakes that might have been made, were far, far lower than for a normal audit.
You know from personal experience the audit process is excruciating and there are additional obstacles for adoptive families. Tell us about that.
And if you adopt internationally, creating the kind of paper trail that the IRS demands can be virtually impossible because you go to countries that are cash economies. It's not like it is in the United States where you swipe a debit card, you get receipts even for McDonald's. You pay cash for your hotel, you pay cash for your taxes, you pay cash for everything. And then the IRS comes back and demands documentation of all of that.
You point out that adoptive families are financially vulnerable. How do the audits hurt them in the pocketbook?
Oh, well, it's adopting internationally and often domestically is incredibly expensive. I mean, you talk to any adoptive family who's adopted internationally, and you're talking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And we don't want adoption to just be for the rich. And in fact, a lot more middle class and lower middle class families have been adopting. And so what this tax credit was designed by Congress to do something that the government, it had a good goal to incentivize adoption, which is an amazing and a beautiful thing. But what the IRS did is they went around frustrating the very goals and intentions of Congress by implementing mass-scale audits of adoptive families.
Many families that adopt are evangelical Christians. The IRS also targeted Tea Party groups, which have wide support from Christians. We also know the IRS harassed a number of pro-life groups. Does it seem to you the IRS has a problem with people who try to live out biblical values?
It's a twisted and distorted morality. But I tell you what's even more twisted and distorted is the possibility that this actual targeting of adoptive families could be ideologically motivated. Many Christians, many conservatives are not aware of it, but there is a growing movement on the far left attacking evangelical adoption, attacking it as, quote, creepy and, get this, racist. So I don't know if the IRS was infected by that mindset, but we know that mindset is growing, and it's been reported in NPR, in Newsweek, and Mother Jones, Salon.com, all attacking Christian adoption.
All right, David French, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Calls for Attorney General Eric Holder to resign are getting louder, and they're coming from Republicans and Democrats. Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee are raising questions of perjury. In a letter to Holder Wednesday, they challenged his testimony 2 weeks ago, where he insisted he knew nothing about the, quote, potential persecution of the press for the disclosure of material. But days later, it became clear the Justice Department obtained the emails of Fox News reporter James Rosen. Meanwhile, prominent liberal legal scholar Jonathan Turley called for Holder to be fired Wednesday in a USA Today column. Turley wrote that Holder, quote, supervised a comprehensive erosion of privacy rights, press freedom, and due process.
Federal authorities are investigating 2 threatening letters sent to New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg that tested positive for the deadly poison ricin. A New York City police spokesman says the letters made references to the mayor's efforts to regulate guns. One letter was sent to the Washington office of Bloomberg's advocacy group, Mayors Against Illegal Guns. The other was opened at a screening facility in Manhattan, blocks away from the mayor's office. There is no word on suspects in this crime. Bloomberg says he will not walk away from the gun control issue.
A new bill, turning now overseas, a new bill in Egypt could undermine many nonprofit groups there. Amnesty International is denouncing the bill, saying it will be a, quote, death blow to civil society. The disputed measure is aimed at non-governmental organizations, or NGOs. Critics say it gives state security agencies wide-ranging powers over the registration, activities, and funding of NGOs. Egypt Islamist President Mohamed Morsi says he needs the measure to protect Egyptian society from foreign dangers. But many NGOs are aid groups that help Egypt's struggling citizens.
Severe weather continues across much of the country. Today, the threat of damaging storms extends from Texas to North Dakota, and forecasters warn the atmosphere is primed to produce violent tornadoes. After a wicked week of storms, still no let-up in the severe weather across the plains in the Midwest. The National Weather Service warning today that the greatest threat for tornadoes will be in Oklahoma and Missouri. Some of the same communities devastated by the storm that hit Oklahoma last week are once again in danger.
I think it's coming our way. Hopefully we have a few hours before it gets here.
Forecasters say the storms are developing ahead of a cold front. The clash between the cool air and the warm, humid air already over much of the Midwest creates an environment ripe for tornadoes. It also brings lots of rain and massive flooding. Iowa has seen the worst. Record high water levels have already been reached on several rivers in the state. But there's also flooding up and down the Mississippi as rain swells the mighty river. The water is rising in unexpected places as water rushes through Chicago neighborhoods after a major storm. This burst of water broke through the doors of an Illinois college. The storm front is expected to move east over the weekend. But parts of New York and New England are already experiencing severe weather.
Every car pulled over and put their hazards on. It's definitely in
no condition to be driving out at this point.
Strong winds brought down trees in Rotterdam, New York, damaging homes, cars, and bringing down power lines. Summer weather arrives on the East Coast today with temperatures rising into the 80s and 90s from New England to Florida.
Hurricane victims in Breezy Point, New York are sending aid to the people of Moore, Oklahoma through Operation Blessing. Breezy Point community leaders donated more than $8,000 in gift cards to residents in Moore, despite the fact that they're still recovering from Hurricane Sandy themselves. Operation Blessing has been in Moore since day one after the tornado struck. It's working with local churches and hundreds of volunteers, as well as teams of associates from Home Depot, which donated supplies. The pastor and members of Highland Baptist Church have been serving around the clock since the deadly tornado, some despite losing their own homes. Operation Blessing's Jody Geddes spoke at a special service at the church held outside on Sunday.
This is a special church. This ministry team, Dina and Pastor Dave, have really just been an awesome example of what a pastoral leadership team should look like, and Pastor Ken. But also, I have to say, the whole body of this church has just touched our hearts.
Now, if you want to partner with Operation Blessing to help the people of Moore and Sandy Point, just go to our website at cbnnews.com.
Coming up, eat, move, sleep. The special formula doctors say will help you live longer.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 U.S. gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Americans who buy their own health insurance could be in for a shock this fall. Many existing insurance policies could get canceled thanks to Obamacare. During the debate about his health care overhaul, President Obama had promised, quote, "If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan, period. No one will take it away, no matter what." But now state insurance regulators say that's not true. Many existing policies don't satisfy the basic demands of Obamacare. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners says many carriers plan to cancel policies and issue new ones because it's easier than changing existing plans. About 14 million Americans purchase their health policies individually.
80 million Americans have some form of heart disease. But as Lori Johnson shows us, the Mayo Clinic is trying to reduce that number with a simple plan.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women, but an astonishing 80% is preventable. Dr. Martha Grogan is a cardiologist at the prestigious Mayo Clinic. She says even small lifestyle changes can make a big difference. She lays out a simple plan in the new book, Mayo Clinic Healthy Heart for Life, that includes eating 5 fruits and vegetables a day.
Eating a more healthy diet sounds hard to some people, but don't worry about the things you can't eat. Just focus on the things you can eat. So try to eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day, and you'll be full. You won't eat as much junk food.
We all know that smoking is bad for your heart, but did you know that sitting most of the time is just as bad? A sedentary lifestyle doubles your chance for a heart attack. But the good news is even a little bit of exercise can make a big difference. Just 10 minutes a day can cut your chance of a heart attack in half.
If you do more activity, you'll benefit even more. But people have gotten into the habit of thinking that 10 minutes is nothing, and it's not.
Getting 8 hours of sleep a night should be considered a necessity, not a luxury, because sleep deprivation has devastating effects on your heart.
One of the most important things about sleep is that getting adequate sleep can help people lose weight. So it not only protects you from heart attacks, but it helps you maintain a healthy weight.
And finally, be joyful, because negative emotions like anger, anxiety, grief, and loneliness can damage your heart. So changing to a heart-healthy lifestyle is easier than you think. And as an added bonus, you'll also reduce the risk of stroke, Alzheimer's, and cancer. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, it's a rare sight at a public school, a Bible club on campus. Find out why it's so popular next.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
IRS audits of Christian and conservative groups and the birth control mandate in the president's healthcare overhaul represent unprecedented threats to religious liberty in America. That's the opinion of Reverend Samuel Rodriguez, president of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference. Rodriguez joins other faith leaders and officials for the 2013 National Religious Freedom Conference in Washington, D.C. today. The all-day conference brings together representatives of the major branches of Christianity, as well as Jews, Mormons, Muslims, and Hindus.
Pastors in the Chicago area are fighting an attempt to expand gambling in Illinois. A state proposal would add 5 new casinos. It already has cleared the Illinois Senate and awaits a House vote. Several of those casinos would be in the Chicago area. The pastors have sent a letter to the Illinois Attorney General arguing that casinos actually hurt communities. They call gambling an unstable source of revenue because of the social cost. That includes job loss and other harmful effects for people who can't afford it.
Imagine a Bible club in a public school that is so popular more than half of the students attends its meetings.
That's right. CBN News first reported on this amazing story in Pennsylvania 2 years ago. And as Paul Strand tells us, its impact has reached around the world.
Each Monday in the middle of the school day, more than half of Red Bank Valley High's 600 students head to Bible Club. That makes it the largest of its kind in the world. They put on an annual open house here in New Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, that showcases their wild skits, zany antics, and boisterous worship. It's attracted up to 1,000 people at once. These students carry their Bibles in the hallways, openly share the gospel, and now they're inspiring kids around the country and beyond. CBN News first covered Red Bank's club 2 years ago after a viewer sent an email about its success.
You made that video clip and everything, and we've got all kinds of responses from that.
Bible Club President Doug Gundlach says it kicked off a cavalcade of inquiries and invitations.
That has sparked interest all over the world, really.
They even had to elect their own public relations officer to handle it all.
A lot of things have happened. We've had a lot of outreach projects, as well as people contacting us to see how things are done.
A major spark came from Maggie McCauley's testimony of being just 14 years old at a Bible Club meeting where she led some 4 dozen students to pray for salvation.
Accepting Christ in front of all their peers during the school day, that doesn't happen anywhere else.
Today, Maggie says it may have been even more than 4 dozen.
Like, I'm sitting there counting, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, 48 kids. And there could have been more, but I had to quit counting so I could pray.
Treasurer Elena Kunzelman believes their TV story led to a miracle connection.
After we were on 700 Club last time, a club from California, Rosamond High School, they're a Bible club. They got in touch with us, said they saw our interview, which was really cool, I thought. I mean, they're the whole way across the country.
Then the Rosamond students shared that they needed exactly 25 Bibles, and that's exactly what the Red Bank students prayed for.
Not even a week later, someone dropped off 25 Bibles in our office, which was the exact number of Bibles that they needed.
The donor had no idea he was fulfilling to a T the prayer for 25 Bibles.
They were just laying around his office, he said.
Elena keeps the thank you card signed by a couple of dozen grateful Rosamond students who received the Bibles.
So, I mean, that's definitely a God thing.
After hearing about Red Bank's Bible Club, Travis Deans of Teens for Christ began to spread the word.
A part of my excitement is to share what's happening here with other clubs and just to say, look what God could do in your school.
Dean shared the story on his website, 9monthmissiontrip.com, which is aimed right at kids in school.
We want to challenge students, particularly Christian students, to think of their school as a mission trip, that God has put them there for a purpose and a reason, and God wants to use them to share his love with their friends.
A ministry that wants to assist setting up a network of 30 or 40 Bible clubs throughout New York City schools sent observers to Red Bank.
They wanted to organize a Bible club that would bring in kids from all 5 boroughs in New York City, and they came to us for help.
And the Red Bankers have become missionaries in their own way.
We went to a youth convention in Denver, and we did a program there.
The club's advisor, teacher Joe Harmon, evangelizes for the club's methods as well, traveling to other Pennsylvania towns when asked.
I asked Joe to come down to the youth group and speak to them, and some of our other youth leaders were there, and it just set the kids on fire.
That's what these Red Bankers want to do everywhere, set students on fire for God and let them know it's completely constitutional to live out their faith anywhere.
There's no law that says kids can't carry a Bible in school, read in school, pray in school. There's nothing like that.
And Dean says kids have every reason to be proud of their God.
I mean, let's face it, God is cool. I mean, God is awesome.
Many Americans may think the Supreme Court threw prayer and the Bible out of public schools back in the 1960s. But as kids here are showing their nation, as long as you're a student, you can have as much prayer, Bible, and God in your school as you want. and it can be pretty cool. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Red Bank Valley High School.
Pretty cool indeed.
That is so cool.
I
Nice
love
to
it.
know. Remember, you do not check your constitutional rights at the door
That's
when you
right.
go to school.
Perfectly legal.
Indeed. Indeed it is. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Finally, a 49-year-old Michigan man is making a difference one stroke at a time.
All while pulling 1 ton of bricks behind him. Jim Dreyer is training to pull 4 10-foot dinghies, each filled with 500 pounds of bricks. The swimmer will tow the bricks to promote his partnership with Habitat for Humanity. They're joining forces to raise money for families to build their own homes.
The bricks are very symbolic because that pain is symbolic of the pain felt by Michigan families who are trying to keep their heads above water. Together, we can be the bricks that rebuild lives, rebuild communities, and rebuild this great state.
The ultramarathoner will swim the 22 miles across Lake St. Clair this August, a mile further than swimming the English Channel.
He's awesome.
He
And just
is.
the thought of those bricks.
God bless him.
God bless him indeed. Well, that's going to do it for the CBN News Channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Have a great day, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. all the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.